That night, the village burned. Fire licked the wooden rooftops like the tongue of a starving beast, swallowing every cry for help before it could reach the sky. Smoke rose thick and black, smothering even the full moon above, as if the moon herself could not bear to witness what was about to unfold. Through the sea of flame a small figure ran, bare feet leaving bloody prints on the cold earth. Behind her, the thunder of hooves, steel kissing steel, a woman screaming a name into the night, then silence, cut clean in the middle. The child did not look back. 7 years pass. The same feet now wrapped in worn leather boots, the same hoof beats behind her, the same blade drawing closer, a dead-end alley, a stone wall rising higher than a man. She looks up. 10 fingers find purchase in the crumbling mortar. 1 breath. 2. Behind her, a voice, low, commanding, the voice of someone who has never had to speak twice. Stop. Her grip tightens on the stone. The market smells like desperation and wet stone. Sable knows this smell, has known it for 7 years. Since Embervale burned and she learned that surviving means never standing still long enough for memory to catch up. She's 22 now, 22 and wanted by the Crown for the crime of existing without permission. The registry patrol is 3 blocks behind her, maybe 4. She doesn't look back because looking back is how you trip, how you hesitate, how you die. Her boots are new. Well, new to her. Traded a rabbit and 2 pouches of feverfew to the cobbler yesterday. The man had looked at her with that expression people get, the one that says they know what she is. Omega, unregistered, running. He'd taken the rabbit anyway. Good boots matter when you run for a living. The crowd thickens near the fish stalls. Perfect. She slips between a woman carrying bread and a man shouting about the price of wool. Ducks under an awning. Emerges on the other side with a basket she didn't have before. Looking casual. Looking like she belongs. Behind her, boots on cobblestone. Heavy. Authoritative. Getting closer. She turns down an alley that smells like piss and rotting vegetables and uses it anyway, because beggars can't be choosers and Omegas on the run can't be precious. The wall at the end is climbable. Barely. She's done worse. Her fingers find purchase in the stone, old mortar crumbling under her grip. She's halfway up when she hears him. Stop. Not a shout. A command. The kind of voice used to being obeyed. She doesn't stop, obviously. Pulls herself over the top of the wall and drops down the other side. Lands wrong. Her ankle screams but holds. Good enough. She's running again before her brain catches up to the pain. 3 more turns. A courtyard. A well. Behind the well. Crouched low. Breathing through her nose because panting gets you caught. The boots pass by. She counts to 100, then 200, then stands and keeps moving because staying in one place is a death sentence and she's not ready to die today. Or any day, really. She's got plans. Small plans. Stupid plans. Plans that involve warm food and maybe a week where nobody tries to kill her. The goals get smaller every year. The tannery hasn't been used for tanning in 5 years. It smells like old leather and fear and the particular kind of exhaustion that comes from living on borrowed time. 7 Omegas inside. 8 now that she's here. The woman who grabbed her arm in the market is named Indira. Dark-skinned and clever-eyed and approximately 3 seconds away from getting elbowed in the throat when Sable realizes she's not a threat. Easy. Indira holds up both hands. I'm like you. Like me how? Omega, unregistered. Trying not to die. Sable lowers her elbow, slightly. You followed me. For 3 hours. You're good, but I'm better. Debatable. Indira grins. Which is bizarre because nothing about this situation calls for grinning. I like you already. Come on, the others will want to meet you. The others turn out to be a mixed bag of trauma and stubbornness. There's a 12-year-old girl clutching a carved wooden bird. She doesn't speak, just watches with huge dark eyes that have seen too much too young. There's an elderly woman who looks 60 going on 1,000. She's grinding something in a mortar with the kind of focused intensity that says she's done this 10,000 times before. There's a young mother with a baby on her hip. The baby is maybe 6 months old and making those snuffly sounds babies make when they're about to cry. There's a pair of teenage twins, identical, both watching Sable like she's a puzzle they can't quite solve. There's a pregnant girl who can't be more than 19. She's sitting in the corner with her hand on her belly and her eyes on the door, and there's a woman who looks like she's been alive since the dawn of time, white-haired and sharp-eyed and radiating the kind of calm that comes from being too old to care about fear anymore. She's the one who speaks first. "Another stray." Her voice is dry, amused. "Indira, you can't keep collecting them." "She nearly killed me in an alley," Indira says cheerfully. "I had to bring her home." The old woman looks at Sable, really looks. The kind of looking that goes all the way through skin and bone and finds the truth underneath. Then she goes very still. "Vera's daughter." The room stops. Sable's hand goes to the knife at her belt. Not threatening, just ready. "How do you know that name?" "Because I knew your mother." The old woman stands slowly, moves like her joints hurt, crosses the room anyway. "I'm Maeve. I was Embervale's memory keeper before it all burned." The world tilts. Sable has spent 7 years alone, 7 years thinking everyone from Embervale died, everyone except her. "You were there." Her voice doesn't sound like her voice. "During the massacre." "I was there after." Maeve's eyes are wet, but her voice stays steady. "Helped you bury them. Spent 3 months teaching you to survive. Then we split up because 2 targets are easier to hunt than 1. The memories come back in pieces. An old woman teaching her which mushrooms were poison, how to set snares, how to disappear into the forest like smoke. You told me to run north. You told me to go east." They stare at each other. Then Maeve opens her arms and Sable steps into them, and for the first time in 7 years, she lets herself be held. Just for a moment. Just long enough to remember what it feels like. When she pulls back, Maeve's crying properly now, not ashamed of it. "Your mother would be so proud." "My mother's dead." "Yes, and you're alive. That's what she wanted." Sable doesn't know what to do with that, so she does what she always does. Changes the subject. "How long have you been here?" 2 weeks. Indira found me in a sanctuary house, which is a pretty name for a place where they leave old Omegas to die quietly. "I didn't let her die quietly," Indira says. "I was very loud about it." The pregnant girl in the corner speaks up. Her voice is small, scared. "Are you staying?" Everyone looks at Sable. She looks at the door, at the 7 faces watching her, at Maeve, who taught her to survive. "I don't stay places," she says finally. "I'll be gone in a few days." It's a lie. She knows it when she says it. So does Maeve, judging by the knowing look in her eyes. But nobody calls her on it. 3 weeks later, she's still there, which is how she finds out the king is coming to Breerin personally. The news arrives via a merchant who trades with the palace. He stops at the tannery because Indira has connections everywhere, because she's smart and careful and has built a network of people who owe her favors. "King Corvain's riding out himself," the merchant says, nervous, excited. "Looking for someone, won't say who, just that it's important." After he leaves, the room goes quiet. "He's looking for unregistered Omegas," the young mother says. "Soline. Her name is Soline and her baby is Kale and she's been here longest. He'll take us back, force us into the registry." "We run," one of the twins says. "Ashling, the braver one." "Where?" says Briar. "The practical one. They've got patrols on every road." Sable is thinking. She's good at thinking. Spent 7 years thinking her way out of traps, and this is just another trap, and there's always a way out if you're smart enough to find it. "I'll go," she says. Everyone stares. "Go where?" Indira says carefully. "To the king. I'll draw him away from here. Lead him on a chase. Give you time to scatter." "That's suicide," Maeve says flatly. "It's strategy." "It's both." Sable shrugs. "I'm fast. I'll lose him in the forest. By the time he gives up, you'll all be safe." The room erupts. Everyone talking at once, saying no, saying it's too dangerous, saying there has to be another way. But there isn't another way. Sable knows it. They know it. Finally, Maeve holds up a hand and the room goes quiet. "You're doing this because you think you're expendable." Not a question. A statement. Sable doesn't answer. "You're not expendable. You're Vera's daughter. You're the last of Embervale. You matter. Mattering doesn't keep you alive. Neither does martyrdom." They stare at each other. "I'm doing it anyway," Sable says. Maeve sighs, long and tired. Then at least let me give you something. She goes to the corner, digs through a satchel, comes back with a worn leather journal. Your mother's research. Sable takes it carefully. The leather is soft with age, the pages yellowed. She opens it to the first page. Her mother's handwriting. Neat, precise, familiar in a way that makes her chest hurt. Omega magic is not myth. It is memory, passed down through blood and bone. We have forgotten how to listen. This journal is my attempt to remember. She was researching Omega power, Maeve says quietly. Old power, from before the hierarchies, before we learned to be small. Why? Because she believed you could reclaim it, your generation. She died trying to prove it. Sable closes the journal, carefully. This is why they killed Embervale. Yes. The room is very quiet. The Hollow Council found out she was close to something, sent soldiers to stop her. Your mother tried to warn the rebellion, sent letters to the resistance leader, to Corvain. Sable looks up sharply. The king. He wasn't king yet, just an angry boy with a cause. She believed in him, thought he'd protect Embervale. He didn't get there in time. He didn't come at all. He sent men, 12 soldiers. They arrived the day after everyone died. Found me. I told them you'd disappeared into the forest. Corvain's been looking for you ever since. Sable stares at her. Not to capture you, to protect you. He owed your mother, failed her. He's been trying to make it right. By passing a law that forces Omegas into slavery, by passing a law that's being corrupted by his council. He doesn't know about the labor camps, the forced assignments. His inner circle is lying to him. Sable stands very still, processing. 7 years she's hated the king. 7 years she's blamed him for Embervale. And he's been trying to find her, to protect her. This doesn't change anything, she says finally. Doesn't it? He still failed my mother, failed my pack. I don't owe him mercy. No, but he owes you truth. And if you're going to confront him anyway, you might as well get it. Sable looks at the journal in her hands, at Maeve, at the others watching with hope and fear and exhaustion. Fine, I'll talk to him. Then I'll disappear into the forest like I planned. Of course you will, Maeve says dryly. Nobody believes her, including herself. The market is crowded when she walks through it the next morning. She's dressed carefully, cloak pulled up, hood shadowing her face, looking like every other trader in the square. She's not here to run. She's here to be seen by the right person. It takes 20 minutes. She's examining apples at a fruit stall when she feels it. The pull, low and insistent, like a hook behind her ribs, like every cell in her body suddenly remembering something it forgot. She turns. He's across the square, tall, broad-shouldered, dark-haired, dressed in plain clothes that don't quite hide the way he moves, like a predator, like something dangerous pretending to be tame. Their eyes meet. The world stops. Not poetically, not metaphorically. Actually stops. Sound cuts out. Color bleeds away. Everything narrows to the space between them and the bond that snaps into place like a thunderclap. Mate. Her wolf knows it. Her body knows it. Every instinct screaming at her to go to him, to complete the bond, to submit to the pull. She takes a step back instead. His eyes flash gold, just for a second. Wolf rising to the surface. Then he's moving toward her, not running, walking. But there's intent in every step, purpose. She turns and walks away. Not fleeing, not yet, just moving, seeing if he'll follow. He does. Of course he does. She leads him through the market, down 3 streets, into an alley that dead ends at a wall. Then she turns to face him. He stops 10 feet away, gives her space, which is either strategic or considerate, and she can't tell which. You're Sable of Embervale. Not a question. You're the king. I am. They look at each other. The bond hums between them, warm, insistent, wanting. She ignores it. Has practice ignoring things that want to control her. You came to Breerin yourself, she says. Why? Because my law is being corrupted. Omegas are suffering. I need to see it firsthand. Fix it. Noble. Necessary. And you thought you'd find me. He's quiet for a moment. I hoped. Because you owe my mother. His expression shifts. Something like pain. Maeve told you. She told me you failed her. Failed Embervale. Failed me. I did. The admission surprises her. She expects denial, justification, the things powerful men say when confronted with their mistakes. Instead, he just stands there looking tired and guilty and real. Your mother sent me 3 letters, he says quietly. The first 2 were about strategy, rebellion tactics. She was brilliant, sharp. She saw patterns nobody else saw. Sable says nothing. The 3rd letter came 3 days before Embervale burned, warning me about the attack, asking for help. I was in the mountains, leading a battalion against Hollow Council forces. We were outnumbered. If I'd pulled my soldiers, we'd have been slaughtered. His voice is steady, but his hands aren't. I sent a lieutenant unit, 12 men. They rode hard, got there the day after your pack died, found Maeve. She said you'd run, vanished. I've had scouts searching ever since. Looking for what? For you. To protect you. To tell you I failed your mother, but I wouldn't fail you again. Sable feels something in her chest crack. Just slightly. Just enough to be dangerous. You expect me to forgive you? No. I expect you to hate me. But I'm asking you to help me anyway. Help you how? Come to the palace. Not as a prisoner, as a consultant. Show me what's really happening with the registry, the corruption, the labor camps, the things my council isn't telling me. Why would I trust you? He meets her eyes. Gold meeting gray. Because the bond means you'll know if I'm lying. Test it. She hesitates. Then, you really didn't know about the labor camps. She feels his answer before he speaks. Feels the genuine horror, the shame, the fury. I authorized a protection law, he says. Not slavery. Someone twisted it. I need to know who. I need to stop it. Sable studies him. King, mate, failure, man. I have conditions. Name them. The Omegas hiding in the tannery. All 7. They go free. Documented as palace consultants. Full immunity. Done. Immediate audit of all registry assignments. Already planned. I come as an advisor, not a registered Omega. I can leave whenever I want. Agreed. She narrows her eyes. You're agreeing too easily. You haven't asked for anything unreasonable. I could ask for your crown. You could, but you won't. You're too practical. He's right. She hates that he's right. There's one more thing, he says. What? Your mother's last letter. I kept it. It's in my chambers. You should read it. Sable goes very still. You kept her letter. All 3 of them. I read them when I forget why I'm doing this. When the crown gets too heavy and I start thinking maybe I should just walk away. Do you? Think about walking away. Every day. The honesty catches her off guard. Kings aren't supposed to admit doubt, weakness, humanity. Why don't you? He looks at her. Really looks. Because of women like your mother, who believed a king could be different. I'm trying to prove she was right. The alley is quiet. Somewhere in the market a merchant shouts. A dog barks. Life continues. I'll come to the palace, Sable says finally. For 2 weeks. I'll tell you what I know. You'll show me my mother's letters, then I'm gone. Understood. And if you're lying, if this is a trap, I'll kill you in your sleep. His mouth twitches, not quite a smile. Fair. She walks past him toward the alley entrance. Stops. Doesn't turn around. My mother trusted you. She did. I don't. I know. Good. She leaves. He watches her go. Neither of them mentions the bond. Neither of them mentions the way it settled into place like coming home. Some things don't need saying. Not yet. Maybe not ever. She goes back to the tannery, tells them about the deal, about going to the palace, about the king's offer. Indira looks at her like she's grown a second head. You're walking into the palace, voluntarily. Apparently. That's insane. Probably. He could be lying. He's not. How do you know? Sable touches her chest, right over her heart, where the bond sits like a second pulse. I know. Maeve doesn't look surprised, just resigned. The mate bond. Everyone goes quiet. The king is your mate, Indira says slowly. The actual king. Unfortunately. And you're still going to the palace. To fix the registry, not to bond with him. Right. Because walking away from a mate bond is easy. I've done harder things. Maeve makes a noise, half laugh, half sigh. Your mother would find this hilarious. My mother's not here. No, but her journal is. Read it. Before you go, you'll need it. That night, Sable sits in the corner with her mother's journal. She reads by candlelight while the others sleep. Page after page of research, theories, hope. Omegas are not weaker. We're dormant, waiting for the right conditions to wake. Like seeds, like potential. The hierarchies taught us to be small, to need protection, to accept submission as nature. But before the hierarchies, we were different, strong, equal, powerful in ways that didn't require dominance. I believe the next generation can remember, can reclaim what we lost. I believe my daughter will lead them. Sable's hands shake. Her mother believed in her, before she was even born, believed she'd survive, believed she'd matter. The last entry is dated 3 days before the massacre. I've sent Corvain one final letter. If he comes, we live. If not, I've prepared Maeve to teach Sable everything I know. Either way, my daughter survives. That's all that matters. The moon gives, the moon takes. And sometimes, if you're paying attention, the moon teaches. I'm ready for whatever comes next. Sable closes the journal. Maeve is awake, watching her from across the room. She knew, Sable says, voice rough. She knew. She knew they'd come. She stayed anyway. She stayed because running would have proved them right, that Omegas are weak, that we need protecting. She stayed to prove we're strong enough to stand. She died. She died standing. Sable looks at her mother's handwriting, the words, the belief. I'm going to the palace, she says again. I know. I'm going to fix this. I know that too. And then I'm leaving. Maeve smiles, sad and knowing. If you say so, child. Sable doesn't sleep that night. She watches the moon through the broken window and thinks about mothers, about kings, about bonds that feel like destiny but might just be biology, about choices, about standing, about what it means to survive versus what it means to live. The moon gives, the moon takes. And tomorrow she walks into the palace of the man who failed her mother, the man who is her mate, the man she absolutely will not fall in love with. Not a chance, not happening. The moon just watches, amused, like she knows something Sable doesn't, like she always does. Section 10. Palace Arrival. The palace doesn't look like a prison. That's the first problem. Sable expected stone walls and guards and the cold brutality of power, expected something she could hate easily, something that would make leaving simple. Instead, it looks like someone's home. Old stone warmed by morning light, gardens overgrown in a way that suggests the gardener has better things to do than trim hedges. Servants moving through corridors with the ease of people who aren't afraid. She hates it immediately, because it's harder to hate comfortable things. Corvain meets her at the servant entrance. Not the grand front gates, not with trumpets and ceremony. The back door, dawn quiet, just him and Garrick. The general who looks at her like she's a puzzle he can't solve and a threat he can't neutralize. Smart man. You came, Corvain says. I made a deal. People break deals. I'm not people. His mouth twitches, not quite a smile. No, you're not. He's dressed simply. No crown, no royal colors. Just dark clothes and tired eyes, and the particular kind of exhaustion that comes from carrying weight nobody else can see. She knows that exhaustion, has worn it herself for 7 years. The others, she says, from the tannery. Already here. Indira's setting up in the east wing, Maeve's in the healer's quarters, the rest are being housed in the guest wing. Not the servant quarters. I said consultants. I meant it. Sable studies him, looking for the lie, the trap, finds nothing but sincerity and bone-deep tiredness. Where am I staying? That's up to you. He gestures toward the palace. I can give you a suite in the guest wing, or if you prefer to stay close to the others, or... He hesitates. Or what? There's a tower room in the old section. It's been empty for years. Private. Overlooks the forest. Has its own entrance. Escape route. I was going to say privacy, but yes, she considers. I'll take the tower. I thought you might. Garrick makes a noise. Quiet. Disapproving. Corvain ignores him. Sable doesn't. She looks at the general. gray-haired and scarred and radiating the kind of controlled violence that comes from decades of keeping someone alive. "You don't trust me," she says. "No." "Good. I don't trust you either." "Also good." They stare at each other. "He's trying to fix this," Garrick says finally. "The registry, the corruption. He's been trying for months. If you're here to help. If you're here to cause problems, I'll throw you out myself." "Garrick," Corvain says quietly. "No, she needs to know. You're too soft with her." "I'm not soft with anyone." "You're soft with her." They look at each other. Some silent conversation passing between them. Sable feels the bond flare. Warm and insistent. Responding to proximity, to attention, to the fact that her mate is standing 3 feet away and every instinct wants her to close the distance. She steps back instead, creates space, breathes through her mouth so she doesn't smell him. Corvain notices. Of course he notices. The bond goes both ways. His jaw tightens, but he doesn't move closer. "The tower room," he says. "I'll show you." The palace doesn't look like a prison. That's the first problem. Sable expected stone walls and guards and the cold brutality of power. Expected something she could hate easily, something that would make leaving simple. Instead, it looks like someone's home. Old stone warmed by morning light. Gardens overgrown in a way that suggests the gardener has better things to do than trim hedges. Servants moving through corridors with the ease of people who aren't afraid. She hates it immediately, because it's harder to hate comfortable things. Corvain meets her at the servant entrance. Not the grand front gates, not with trumpets and ceremony. The back door, dawn quiet. Just him and Garrick, the general who looks at her like she's a puzzle he can't solve and a threat he can't neutralize. Smart man. "You came," Corvain says. "I made a deal." People break deals. "I'm not people." His mouth twitches, not quite a smile. "No, you're not." He's dressed simply. No crown, no royal colors. Just dark clothes and tired eyes and the particular kind of exhaustion that comes from carrying weight nobody else can see. She knows that exhaustion, has worn it herself for 7 years. "The others," she says, "from the tannery. Already here. Indira's setting up in the east wing. Maeve's in the healer's quarters. The rest are being housed in the guest wing." "Not the servant quarters." "I said consultants. I meant it." Sable studies him, looking for the lie, the trap. Finds nothing but sincerity and bone-deep tiredness. "Where am I staying?" "That's up to you." He gestures toward the palace. "I can give you a suite in the guest wing, or if you prefer to stay close to the others. Or..." He hesitates. "Or what?" "There's a tower room in the old section. It's been empty for years, private, overlooks the forest, has its own entrance. Escape route. I was going to say privacy, but yes." She considers. "I'll take the tower." "I thought you might." Garrick makes a noise, quiet, disapproving. Corvain ignores him. Sable doesn't. She looks at the general, gray-haired and scarred and radiating the kind of controlled violence that comes from decades of keeping someone alive. "You don't trust me," she says. "No." "Good. I don't trust you either." "Also good." They stare at each other. "He's trying to fix this," Garrick says finally. "The registry, the corruption. He's been trying for months. If you're here to help. If you're here to cause problems, I'll throw you out myself." "Garrick," Corvain says quietly. "No, she needs to know. You're too soft with her." "I'm not soft with anyone." "You're soft with her." They look at each other, some silent conversation passing between them. Sable feels the bond flare, warm and insistent, responding to proximity, to attention, to the fact that her mate is standing 3 feet away and every instinct wants her to close the distance. She steps back instead, creates space, breathes through her mouth so she doesn't smell him. Corvain notices. Of course he notices. The bond goes both ways. His jaw tightens, but he doesn't move closer. "The tower room," he says. "I'll show you." The tower room is perfect, which is suspicious. Stone walls, narrow windows, a bed that looks slept in recently, books on the shelves, a desk with maps, a door that leads to a spiral staircase that leads outside. "Who stayed here before?" Sable asks. Corvain is quiet for a moment, standing in the doorway, not entering. "My mother." Everything stops. "Your mother." She liked the privacy, the view. My father didn't approve, said queens should sleep in the royal wing. She came here anyway, when things got too loud. Sable looks at the room differently now, sees the small rebellions, the books on Omega history, the desk positioned to watch the forest instead of the palace. She was Omega, Sable says, not a question. Yes. Forced bond, forced. Political marriage, she was 16. My father was 30. She did her duty, gave him an heir, then spent the rest of her life trying to disappear. His voice is flat, empty, the kind of empty that comes from feeling too much for too long. She died when I was 10. How? Officially. Illness. Unofficially. He stops, starts again. She jumped from the tower window. Sable turns to look at him. He's not looking at her, looking at the floor, at the stones his mother must have walked across 1,000 times before deciding they weren't enough to keep her here. I found her, he says. I was supposed to be in lessons. I skipped, came here to hide. She was in the garden below, already gone. I'm sorry. Don't be. She chose freedom. I can't be angry at that. Sable wants to say something, anything, but there are no words for this kind of pain, so she just stands there. He finally looks up, meets her eyes. You can stay somewhere else, if this is too much. It's not too much. It's a room where an Omega killed herself to escape a bond. And now it's a room where an Omega chooses to stay on her own terms. Better story. Something shifts in his expression. Surprise, respect, something warmer that she refuses to name. The others are expecting you in the healer's wing, he says. Maeve wants to show you something. And then, if you're willing, war room. Tonight, I have maps, questions, things I need your help with. I'll be there. He nods, starts to leave, stops. Sable. Yes. Thank you. For coming. For trusting me even a little. I don't trust you. I know. Thank you anyway. He leaves. She stands in the Queen's tower room and wonders what kind of man thanks you for not trusting him. Maeve's healer quarters are organized chaos. Dried herbs hanging from rafters, jars of ointments, bandages, tools, the smell of antiseptic and lavender and something darker underneath. Maeve is grinding something in a mortar. Same focused intensity Sable remembers from the tannery. You came, Maeve says without looking up. You sound surprised. I'm not. You're your mother's daughter. Stubborn. I prefer determined. Same thing, different framing. Sable sits on the stool across from her, watches the methodical grinding. You wanted to show me something. I wanted to give you something. Maeve sets down the mortar, wipes her hands, goes to a cabinet and pulls out a leather satchel, opens it carefully. Inside are 3 letters, folded, sealed with wax that's been broken and carefully preserved. Your mother's letters to Corvain, Maeve says. He gave them to me, asked me to keep them safe, in case you ever came. Sable stares at them, her mother's handwriting on the outside, neat, precise, addressing a boy who wasn't king yet, who was just trying to survive the same system that killed her. Read them later, Maeve says. When you're alone, when you're ready. I'm ready now. No, you're not. They look at each other. He's been good to me, Maeve says quietly. Corvain found me 2 years ago in a sanctuary house. They were letting us die slowly. Starvation, neglect. Called it mercy. He shut the place down, arrested the administrators, brought me here, made me royal healer. He was trying to find me. Yes, but he helped me anyway, even when I couldn't lead him to you. Sable picks up the letters, holds them carefully. What do they say? Strategy mostly. Your mother was brilliant at seeing patterns. She helped him plan half the rebellion. The 3rd letter, the last one. Maeve stops. Her eyes go distant, remembering. She knew they were coming. The Hollow Council soldiers. She sent Corvain warning, asked for help, told him if he couldn't come to find you after, protect you, teach you. She believed in him, trusted him, even knowing he might fail. He did fail. He sent 12 men. They rode for 3 days straight, got there too late, found me burying bodies. They helped, those soldiers, wept while they dug. Then they took me to safety. Corvain's been looking for you ever since. Sable's throat is tight. He feels guilty, Maeve continues. Carries it like penance. I've watched him these 2 years. He doesn't sleep well. Works too much. Pushes himself until he collapses. He's trying to build the world your mother believed was possible. Why are you telling me this? Because you're going to fall in love with him. Or you already have. And when you do, you'll need to know he's not perfect. He's broken. Trying. That's enough. Or it isn't. But you should know what you're choosing. I'm not choosing anything. I'm here for 2 weeks. Then I'm gone. Maeve smiles. Sad. Knowing. Of course you are. Sable stands. Takes the letters. I need to go. East Wing. 3rd door on the left. Indira's setting up a school. She'll want to see you. A school. For Omegas. Reading, writing, history. Corvain approved it this morning. Full funding. Sable stares. Like I said, Maeve murmurs. He's trying. Indira's school is 1 room and 7 students and more hope than Sable has seen in 7 years. The students are young, between 8 and 15, Omega children from families who couldn't afford education, who thought their daughters were better off learning to be quiet than learning to read. Indira is teaching them letters. She looks up when Sable enters, grins. There you are, come help. I'm not a teacher. You can read, you know Herb lore. That makes you more qualified than most. The children stare at Sable with wide eyes. One of them, a girl maybe 10 years old, whispers to her neighbor. Is that her? The Forest Omega. The one who outran the King's Guard for 7 years. I heard she can talk to wolves. I heard she killed a man with her bare hands. Sable looks at Indira. You've been telling stories. I've been telling the truth, embellished slightly, for morale. I didn't kill anyone. You could have, that's the point. The children lean forward, hungry for more. Sable sighs, sits down. Fine. What do you want to know? A dozen hands shoot up. She spends the next 2 hours answering questions, teaching them about edible plants, how to read tracks, how to move quietly, how to survive. The things her mother taught her, the things Maeve reinforced, the knowledge that kept her alive when everything else was taken. When the lesson ends and the children file out, Indira looks at her with something like awe. You're good at this. I'm good at surviving. Different thing. Is it though? Sable doesn't have an answer. Indira starts cleaning up, organizing papers. He's giving us funding. Corvain. Enough for supplies, more teachers, a real curriculum. I heard. He's also auditing every registry assignment, personally. He's been working 18-hour days. Garrick says he's going to collapse. Not my problem, isn't it? He's your mate. Biology isn't destiny. No, but it's hard to ignore. Sable picks up a book, sets it down. I'm not staying. You keep saying that. Because it's true. Indira looks at her, really looks. What are you afraid of? I'm not afraid. Liar. They stare at each other. Everyone I love dies, Sable says finally. My father, my mother, my pack. Maeve almost died. The Tannery Omegas could have died. I'm a curse. Staying near me gets you killed. Or, Indira says gently, staying near you teaches people to survive. Ever think of that? Sable doesn't answer. Can't answer. Because she spent 7 years believing she's poison, and Indira just suggested she might be medicine instead. The war room is exactly what it sounds like. Stone walls, high ceilings, a table the size of a small house covered in maps, pins marking locations, trade routes, patrol patterns, problem areas. Corvain is bent over the table when she enters, studying something. His hair is falling in his eyes and there's ink on his fingers, and he looks younger like this. Less king, more man. He looks up when she enters, straightens. You came. You asked. I asked. You could have refused. I could have. I didn't. They look at each other. The bond hums, warm, insistent, closer now. Physical proximity making it harder to ignore. Sable forces herself to move to the table, to focus on the maps instead of him. Show me. He does. Points out registry stations, problem areas, places where Omegas are disappearing, where reports don't match reality. Here, he says, tapping the map. Grimwood Province, 300 registered Omegas, but housing records show facilities for 50. Where are the others? That's what I need to know. Sable studies the map, thinks about geography. about what she knows from 7 years in the forest. There, she points. Old mining tunnels, abandoned 20 years ago, perfect for hiding people you don't want found. Labor camps. Probably. His jaw tightens. I'll send a unit. No. You'll go yourself. He looks at her sharply. What? You said you wanted to see what's really happening. So go see. Don't send soldiers who'll report what you want to hear. Go. Look. No. It's dangerous. You're the king. Everything's dangerous. Exactly. If something happens to me, then Garrick takes over temporarily and the kingdom doesn't fall apart. You've got succession plans. Use them. They stare at each other. You're right, he says finally. I know. I hate that you're right. You'll get used to it. His mouth twitches, almost a smile. Will I? If I'm stuck here for 2 weeks, you're getting truth whether you like it or not. I do like it. That's the problem. The air between them changes, charges, the bond pulling tighter. Sable steps back, creates distance. Show me the rest. They spend the next 3 hours going over maps, routes, strategies. She points out things he missed. Trade patterns that don't make sense. Gaps in patrol schedules. Places where corruption is obvious once you know to look. You're better at this than my advisors, he says at one point. Your advisors aren't trying to stay alive. I am. Different motivation. Effective motivation. The best kind. Around midnight he stops, sits down hard in a chair, runs his hands through his hair. I didn't know, he says quietly, about the labor camps, the forced assignments, the breeding programs. I wrote the law to protect Omegas, give them legal status, safety. Someone twisted it. Your council. Some of them. I don't know who. Don't know how deep it goes. So you find out. You investigate. You burn down the corrupt parts and rebuild. It's not that simple. It never is. You do it anyway. He looks up at her, gold eyes tired, honest. Why are you helping me? Because my mother believed in you. I don't know why, but she did. I owe it to her to find out if she was right. And if she wasn't, then I'll kill you in your sleep like I promised. He laughs, actual laugh, low and rough and surprised. I believe you. You should. They sit in the quiet, the fire crackling, the map spread between them. The bond settled into something almost comfortable. Almost. There's something else, Corvain says. Something I need to tell you. What? He stands, goes to a cabinet, pulls out a wooden box, opens it. Inside is a letter, sealed, blood-locked. Your mother's final letter to me, he says. The one warning about Embervale. I've never been able to open it. Blood magic. Requires Omega blood to unseal. Your blood, specifically. Sable stares at the letter, her mother's handwriting on the outside. She knew I'd fail, Corvain says quietly. Knew I wouldn't get there in time. This letter. It's not for me. It's for you. She locked it so you'd only find it when you were ready. Ready for what? I don't know. That's for you to discover. He holds out the letter. Sable takes it. The wax is red, old, preserved by magic she doesn't understand. How do I open it? Blood on the seal. Just a drop. It'll know. She pulls out her knife, pricks her finger, lets a single drop fall. The wax glows, hisses, melts. The letter unfolds itself. Her mother's handwriting fills the page. My dearest daughter, if you're reading this, you've survived. You've found Corvain. You've made it to the palace. I'm so proud of you. By now you know about Embervale, about the massacre, about my research into Omega magic. What you don't know is why. Omegas aren't weak, Sable. We're dormant, waiting. The hierarchies taught us to be small, to need protection, to accept our place. But before the hierarchies, we were different, powerful, equal. I was close to proving it, close to teaching others how to reclaim that power. The Hollow Council found out. They came. I could have run, taken you, disappeared. I stayed. Not because I wanted to die, but because running would have proved them right. That Omegas are weak, that we can't stand. I stayed to show them we can. I failed. But you haven't. You survived. You're strong. You're everything I hoped you'd be. Corvain will try to help you. He'll probably fail sometimes. He's young, broken, trying to fix a world that doesn't want fixing. Be patient with him. Or don't. That's your choice. The bond will pull at you. Biology demanding connection. Ignore it if you want. Accept it if you choose. But whatever you do, make sure it's your choice. Not Destiny's, not the moon's, yours. I love you. I'm sorry I won't see who you become, but I know you'll be magnificent. Choose yourself first. Then, if you want, choose him. Your mother, Vera Sable, reads it twice, 3 times. Her hands are shaking. Corvain is watching her. Quiet, giving her space. She knew, Sable says finally. She knew she'd die. Stayed anyway. Yes, she was braver than me. You're alive. That took bravery too. Sable folds the letter carefully. She told me to choose myself first. Good advice. And then choose you, if I wanted. He goes very still. Do you? I don't know yet. Fair. They look at each other, the bond singing between them, warm, alive, patient. I need to go, Sable says. Think, process. Of course. She walks to the door, stops, doesn't turn around. Thank you for keeping her letters, for trying, for not giving up. I made a promise to her. I keep my promises. Eventually. Eventually is better than never. I'll take it. She leaves. He watches her go. And for the first time in 4 years, he thinks maybe the crown isn't quite as heavy as it used to be. 5 days pass. Sable settles into routines she doesn't mean to settle into. Mornings with Indira's students, teaching them survival, reading, how to be small and loud at the same time. Afternoons in the healer's wing with Maeve, learning advanced herb lore, treating patients, listening to stories about her mother. Evenings in the war room with Corvain, maps and strategies and slow conversations that aren't about war at all. Why did you really rebel? She asks one night. Because my father was a monster. Someone had to stop him. Lots of people had monster fathers. Not everyone starts revolutions. He's quiet for a long time. I watched him hurt my mother. For years. Made her small. Erased her. And I couldn't stop it. I was a child. Powerless. When I grew up, I decided I'd never be powerless again. Never watch someone suffer without acting. Hero complex. Guilt complex. Different thing. Is it, though? He looks at her. Almost smiles. You sound like Garrick. Garrick's smart. He thinks you're dangerous. I am dangerous. I know. It's part of your charm. Something flutters in her chest. She ignores it. Tell me about the rebellion, she says. So he does. Tells her about battles and losses and the slow grinding work of dismantling power. About friends who died, mistakes he made, things he'd do differently. I was 19 when we won, he says. Too young to be king, too angry to refuse. Garrick tried to talk me into waiting, letting someone else take the throne temporarily. I wouldn't listen. Regret it. Every day, and not at all. Paradox of leadership. Sounds exhausting. It is. Another night she tells him about the forest, about 7 years of survival, the loneliness, the fear, the strange freedom of having nothing left to lose. I thought about dying sometimes, she admits. In winter, when it was too cold, too hard, I'd think how easy it would be to just stop. Why didn't you? Stubbornness mostly, and spite. The Hollow Council killed my pack. I wasn't going to give them me too. Spite is underrated as motivation. Spite is all I had. They sit in comfortable silence, the fire burning low, maps forgotten. I'm glad you didn't stop, Corvain says quietly. Me too, mostly. Mostly. Some days are harder than others. I know that feeling. They look at each other, the bond warm and steady between them, neither mentioning it, both feeling it. On the 8th night, everything changes. Sable is in the library, reading, researching Omega magic from her mother's notes. Corvain finds her there. There's been news, he says, from Grimwood. She looks up, reads his face. Bad news. 3 labor camps, 200 Omegas, conditions. You don't want to know. I need to know. So he tells her. Starvation, abuse, forced breeding. Omegas worked until they collapsed. Children taken from mothers, elders left to die. All in her name, in the name of protection, of order. Council member Valiera, Corvain says, voice flat, cold. She's been running them, using my law as cover. She fled to Grimwood when she realized I was investigating. She's gathering supporters, threatening to split the kingdom if I enforce reforms. Sable stands. Then we go there. Face her. It's dangerous. Everything's dangerous. You said so yourself. I can't ask you. You're not asking. I'm telling you. We go. We end this. We free those Omegas. He looks at her, something like awe in his eyes. You're extraordinary. I'm angry. Different thing. Is it, though? She almost smiles. We leave tomorrow. Agreed. That night, Sable dreams of her mother. They're in Embervale Garden, before the massacre, dancing under the full moon. Her mother is laughing, young, alive. I'm scared, Sable says. Good. Fear means you care. What if I fail? Then you fail, and try again. That's all any of us can do. What if I love him? Her mother smiles. Then you love him. Love isn't failure, it's bravery. Sable wakes before dawn. The bond is humming, insistent, pulling her somewhere. She follows it, finds Corvain on the battlements, staring at the forest. She stands beside him, not speaking, just present. I'm afraid, he says finally. Of what? Of failing again, of not being enough, of losing you before I ever really had you. You don't have me. I know, that's the problem. They stand in the pre-dawn darkness. I'm afraid too, Sable admits. Of wanting this, of wanting you, of choosing something that might destroy me. I won't destroy you. You might not mean to. Doesn't mean it won't happen. He turns to face her. Then we'll be careful. Both of us. We'll choose each day, not forever, just today. Just today. Is that enough? She looks at him. Really looks. Sees the broken boy trying to be king, the man trying to be good, the mate trying to be patient. Ask me tomorrow, she says. Will you be here tomorrow? Yes. Promise. I promise. They stand there as the sun rises, not touching, not quite, but close enough to feel each other's warmth, close enough to hope. Tomorrow they ride for Grimwood. Tomorrow they face Valera and her camps and the corruption that's poisoned everything. But tonight, right now, they have this moment, this almost, this maybe, and for the first time in 7 years, Sable thinks maybe that's enough. The road to Grimwood takes 5 days. 5 days of riding through forests that get darker the further they go. Trees pressing close, sky narrowing to a strip of gray above them. Corvain, Sable, Garrick. 20 guards. Not an army. A statement. We come to talk, but we're not defenseless. The first night they camp in a clearing that smells like pine and old rain. Sable sits by the fire, sharpening her knife. A habit now, something to do with her hands when her mind won't settle. Corvain sits across from her, pretending to study maps, actually watching her. She knows he's watching, can feel his attention like heat on her skin. Ask, she says without looking up. Ask what? Whatever question is making you stare. He's quiet for a moment. Why did you really come? To Grimwood? You could have stayed at the palace. Stayed safe. Safe is boring. Safe is alive. Same thing. Not always. She looks up, meets his eyes across the flames. You're going to face a council member who's committed treason, who's tortured Omegas, who wants you dead, and you're asking why I came. Yes. Because someone should watch your back. You're terrible at it. His mouth twitches. Garrick watches my back. Garrick is 60 feet away arguing with a map. I'm here. Better option. Noted. They sit in the firelight. Around them, guards settling in. Low conversations. The sound of someone sharpening a sword. Normal sounds. Familiar sounds. The sounds of people preparing for violence while pretending they're not. Tell me about your mother, Sable says suddenly. Corvain looks surprised. What do you want to know? What she was like before? He's quiet for a long time, staring into the fire, remembering. She sang, he says finally, constantly, little songs, made-up words. She'd sing while she worked, while she walked. My father hated it, said queens should have dignity. Did she stop? Never. Sang quieter, but never stopped. It drove him insane. Sable smiles, small, genuine. I like her. She would have liked you. Your stubbornness, your refusal to be small. Was she small? She tried to be, for me, to keep me safe, but it killed her, slowly, piece by piece. His voice cracks, just slightly, just enough. I'm sorry, Sable says. Don't be. She made her choices. I wish I'd been old enough to tell her she didn't have to protect me, that I'd have chosen her survival over my safety. You were 10, old enough to know, not old enough to stop it. They look at each other. The bond pulses, warm, aching, understanding. My mother sang too, Sable says quietly. Old songs, Omega songs, about the moon, about survival, about women who refuse to break. I'd like to have heard them. Maybe I'll sing them sometime, when this is over. I'd like that. The fire crackles. Someone laughs across the camp, normal life continuing around them while they sit in their shared grief. I'm glad you came, Corvain says. To Grimwood, to the palace, to this. This, he gestures vaguely, at the space between them, at the bond neither of them mentions, at whatever they're becoming. Yeah, this. Sable looks at him, really looks, past the crown, past the guilt, past the fear, sees the man, just the man. Me too, she says. It's the most honest thing she's said in 7 years. The second night, Garrick pulls Sable aside. They're at the edge of camp, far enough for privacy, close enough to still see the fires. You're good for him, Garrick says without preamble. I'm not trying to be good for anyone. I know, that's why it works. Sable crosses her arms. You didn't bring me here to give compliments. No, I brought you here to tell you that if you hurt him, I'll make your life extremely difficult. Fair. He's been through enough, lost enough. He doesn't need more pain. Agreed. Garrick studies her. You're not afraid of me. Should I be? Most people are. I'm not most people. No, you're not. He almost smiles. You know what you're doing to him. The bond. He's fighting it, trying to give you space. But it's killing him. Slowly. I know. And I'm fighting it too. It doesn't make it easier. Does he know that? He's not stupid. He's a man. Different thing. Sable laughs. Unexpected. Genuine. You're not wrong. They stand in companionable silence. I was her guard, Garrick says suddenly. Queen Isla's. I was 25. She was 16. Forced into marriage with a man who saw her as property. I was supposed to protect her. You couldn't have stopped what happened. I could have caught her when she jumped. I was on duty. I saw her climb to the tower. I thought she needed air, space. I didn't think. I should have known. His voice breaks. Sable touches his arm, brief, grounding. You can't save people from themselves. I should have tried harder. Trying harder doesn't always work. Sometimes people are just done. And that's not your fault. He looks at her, eyes wet. You're wiser than you look. I'm older than I look. You're 22. I've lived about 70 years in those 22. Experience ages you. Doesn't it just? They stand there, two people carrying ghosts. Take care of him, Garrick says. Or don't, but decide. The uncertainty is worse than rejection. I'll think about it. That's all I ask. He walks back to camp. Sable stays in the darkness, thinking. About mothers who jumped, mothers who stayed, men who tried, men who failed. About choices, about love as bravery instead of weakness. The moon is full overhead. Watching, always watching. They reach Grimwood on the 5th day. The manor house sits at the edge of the forest. Beautiful, unexpected, not a fortress, a home, which makes it worse somehow, because evil should look like evil, should announce itself with sharp edges and dark stone and obvious wrongness. Instead, it looks like a garden party waiting to happen. Valeera meets them on the front steps. She's 65 and elegant and looking at them like they're children who've disappointed her. Corvain, she says. Cool, composed. You came yourself. How dramatic. You committed treason. Drama seemed appropriate. Treason is such a harsh word. I prefer protective governance. You tortured Omegas. I disciplined lawbreakers. Not the same thing. Sable steps forward. You starved children. Valeera looks at her. Really looks. And who are you? Sable of Embervale, last survivor of the pack your hollow council friends destroyed. Something flickers in Valiera's eyes. Recognition. Calculation. Embervale. That was unfortunate. Unfortunate. Collateral damage and a necessary action. Your mother was dangerous. Spreading ideas. Omegas don't need ideas. They need structure. Sable's hands curl into fists. Corvain touches her arm. Gentle. Grounding. We're not here to debate philosophy. We're here to shut down your camps. Free the Omegas. Arrest you for crimes against the crown. You can't arrest me. I have support. 6 council members. Half the provincial lords. If you try to force this, I'll declare independence. Split the kingdom. Then split it. Everyone goes still. Valiera stares. You'd risk civil war over Omegas. I'd risk anything to stop what you're doing. You're a fool. Probably. But I'm a fool with an army. You're a traitor with delusions. Valiera's composure cracks. Just slightly. Just enough. You have no idea what you're doing. Omegas need control. Need guidance. My daughter. She was Omega. I gave her everything. Freedom. Choice. She chose an unsuitable mate. Got pregnant. Died in childbirth because she was too weak to survive. Her voice shakes. If I'd controlled her, chosen for her, she'd be alive. Silence falls. Heavy. Painful. Sable speaks. Quiet. Firm. Or she'd have jumped from a tower like Queen Isla. Control doesn't protect. It kills differently. Valiera flinches. Your daughter made her choice, Sable continues. It ended badly. That's tragedy, not a reason to cage everyone else. You don't understand. I understand better than you think. I lost my mother, my pack, everyone. I could have spent 7 years trying to control the world so it couldn't hurt me again. Instead, I learned to survive it, to adapt, to keep living despite the fear. She steps closer. You want to honor your daughter. Let other Omegas live freely. Let them choose. Let them risk. Let them be human instead of property. Valiera is crying now, not sobbing, just tears sliding down her elegant face. I don't know how to let go, she whispers. Then learn. We'll teach you. Garrick speaks up. I failed Queen Isla by trying to control instead of support. Don't make my mistake. The wind blows through the garden. Somewhere a bird calls. Life continuing around this moment of breaking and potential healing. What are you offering? Valiera says finally. Corvain straightens. King again. Stand down. Release the Omegas. Give testimony about council corruption. In exchange, advisory position, no jail time, transition oversight for Grimwood Province. You'd trust me. I'd give you a chance to do better. Same thing. Valiera looks at him, at Sable, at Garrick. The camps, she says slowly. They're worse than you know. I need to show you, so you understand what I was trying to prevent. Show us. They walk through the grounds, behind the manor, into the forest. The camps are hidden in a valley. 3 buildings, unmarked, unremarkable. Inside is hell. 200 Omegas, starved, beaten, hollow-eyed, children clinging to mothers, elders too weak to stand. Sable has seen violence, has lived through massacre. This is different. This is systematic, calculated. Cruelty is policy. She walks through the buildings, touching hands, offering water, whispering promises. You're safe now. We're getting you out. You're safe. Some believe her, some don't. Some are too broken to care. Corvain is pale, shaking, fury and guilt warring on his face. In my name, he says, voice hollow. This happened in my name. Not in your name, Sable says firmly. In spite of you. You didn't know. Now you do. Now you fix it. He nods, mechanically, like he's moving through water. Garrick, get physicians, food, transport. We're moving everyone to the capital, tonight. Yes, sire. And arrest anyone who ran these camps. Everyone. No exceptions. Already done. Corvain turns to Valiera. This is what you thought was protective. She's crying again. I didn't know it was this bad. I gave orders for discipline, structure, not this. Intent doesn't erase impact. I know. I'm sorry. It's not enough. But I'm sorry. They stand in the aftermath, in the evidence of what happens when good intentions meet unchecked power. We fix this, Corvain says, not to anyone in particular, to himself, to the universe, to the Omegas watching him with wary hope. All of it, the registry, the camps, the system. We burn it down. We start over. Sable touches his hand, brief, grounding. Yes, we do. It takes 3 days to evacuate the camps. 3 days of physicians and food and slowly coaxing traumatized Omegas to trust that this rescue is real. Sable works alongside Maeve, who arrived 2 days ago with Indira and supplies. They treat wounds, infections, malnutrition. They listen to stories, horrors, survival. One woman, maybe 30, tells Sable about watching her daughter die of fever because medicine was withheld as punishment. They said she was being defiant. She was 6. She asked for water. Sable holds her while she cries. Has no words, just presence. Later she finds Corvain in the med tent, sitting with a child, reading a story. The child is maybe 8, curled against his side, listening. He looks up when Sable enters, sees something in her face. Go take a break, he tells the child gently. I'll finish the story later. The child runs off. Corvain stands. What do you need? I need to scream, or break something, or, I don't know, something. He takes her hand, leads her outside, into the forest, far enough that no one can hear. Scream, he says. What? You said you needed to scream, so scream. I'll stand here. I'll listen. You scream. She stares at him. Then she screams, loud, ragged. 7 years of pain and fury and exhaustion pouring out. She screams until her throat is raw, until her voice breaks, until she collapses to her knees and he kneels beside her and pulls her into his arms. She doesn't cry. Can't cry. Cried herself dry years ago. Just shakes. He holds her. Says nothing. Just holds her. I can't save them all, she whispers finally. The ones who died here, the ones who died in Embervale, the ones who'll die tomorrow. I can't save everyone. No, but you can save some. Today you saved 200. That's not nothing. It's not enough. It never is. We save who we can. We grieve who we couldn't. We keep going. She pulls back, looks at him. How do you do this? Every day. Carry this weight. I don't. Not well. I break down. I scream in forests. I lean on people. On Garrick. On Maeve. On you. I'm not staying. I know. I'm leaving after this. Going back to the forest. Rebuilding Embervale. Living small. I know. So don't lean on me. Too late. They look at each other. The bond singing, desperate, wanting. I'm afraid, she says. Of what? Of this. Of you. Of wanting something and having it destroy me. I won't destroy you. You might not mean to. Then we'll be careful. We'll choose each day, not forever, just today. Remember, just today. Is that enough? She thinks about her mother's letter, about choosing herself first, then choosing him, about bravery. Ask me tomorrow, she says. Will you be here tomorrow? Yes. He kisses her. Soft, tentative, asking permission with every second. She kisses him back, harder, demanding, answering with certainty. The bond flares, gold and bright and finally acknowledged. They break apart, foreheads touching, breathing hard. That was a terrible idea, Sable says. Worst decision ever. We should not do that again. Absolutely not. Pause. They kiss again, longer this time, deeper. The bond settling into place like a key in a lock. When they finally stop, they're both shaking. Okay, Sable says. Okay, we're doing this. Are we? Apparently. Against my better judgment, against all logic. We're doing this. Just today, though. Just today. And tomorrow? Ask me tomorrow. He smiles. Real smile. Unguarded. I will. They walk back to camp holding hands. Not hiding, not announcing, just present. Garrick sees them, raises an eyebrow, says nothing. Maeve sees them, smiles, says nothing. Indira sees them, grins, mouths, I told you so. Sable flips her off. Some things don't change. They return to the palace 2 weeks later. 200 rescued Omegas. Valeria in custody, not in chains, in guest quarters, under guard but treated with dignity, because even traitors deserve humanity. The council is in uproar, half demanding Valera's execution, half demanding Corvain's abdication. He ignores all of them, calls an emergency session, public, open. The throne room is packed. Nobles, commoners, Omegas, everyone. Corvain stands before them, no crown, just himself. "I failed you," he says simply. "I wrote a law meant to protect. It was corrupted, twisted, used to justify atrocity. 200 Omegas suffered because I didn't watch carefully enough, didn't question thoroughly enough, trusted the wrong people." The room is silent. "I'm not abdicating. I'm not hiding from this. I'm fixing it." He holds up a document. "New law, effective immediately. The registry is dissolved. Omegas have full legal autonomy, equal to alphas, equal to betas. No forced assignments, no guardianships, no systems that treat you as property." Murmurs ripple through the crowd. It won't be perfect. There will be resistance, problems, growing pains. But we start now, today, and we keep working until it's right. He looks at Sable, standing in the crowd, wearing simple clothes, nothing that marks her as special, except she is special, and everyone knows it. "I had help," Corvain says, "from people braver than me, smarter than me, people who survived horrors I only stopped, who built hope from ashes, who taught me that strength isn't power, it's resilience." He steps down from the throne, walks to Sable, holds out his hand. "Help me build this, not as my mate, not as property, as my partner, my equal, my everything." The room holds its breath. Sable looks at his hand, at his face, at the vulnerability in his eyes, looks at Maeve, who nods, looks at Indira, who grins, looks at the 200 freed Omegas watching with hope, thinks about her mother, about choosing herself first. She's chosen herself for 7 years, survived, endured, became someone her mother would be proud of. Maybe now she can choose something else too. "Just today," she says. "Just today." She takes his hand. The room erupts, cheering, crying, chaos, but Sable only sees him. "This is terrifying," she says. "I know. I might run. I'll find you. I might break your heart. You already have, multiple times. I survived. I'm serious. So am I. I choose you. Today, tomorrow, every day you'll let me. And when you need space, I'll give it. And when you need me, I'll be here." She looks at him. Really looks. Sees the boy who lost his mother. The man who tried to save everyone. The king learning to be human. Sees her future. Scary and uncertain and possibly wonderful. "Okay," she says. "Okay, we try this. For real. For real." They kiss. In front of everyone. Not gentle. Not tentative. Claiming. Choosing. Committing. The bond sings. Finally complete. Finally home. The months that follow are not easy. Council resistance. Noble protests. Slow grinding change. But every morning Sable wakes in the tower room and chooses. Just today. Every morning Corvain asks, "Will you be here tomorrow?" Yes. Always yes. The new law holds. Barely. With resistance and setbacks and slow progress. But progress nonetheless. Indira's school expands. 50 students now. Omegas learning to read, to think, to lead. Maeve publishes a book. Omega history. Oral traditions. Her mother's research. It becomes required reading in schools. The freed Omegas scatter. Some stay at the palace. Some go home. Some build new homes. All of them free. Valera serves as advisor. Works on reform. Tries to make amends. It doesn't erase what happened. But it's something. Sable splits her time. 6 months at the palace. 6 months in Embervale. Which she's rebuilding. With Indira. With some of the freed Omegas. With volunteers. A new pack. Mixed ranks. Integrated. The first of its kind. Corvain visits when he can. Rules from wherever she is. Makes it work. Because kingdoms can adapt. If kings are brave enough to change them. 1 full year since the camps closed. Tonight is the full moon. Embervale Garden. Rebuilt. Blooming. 40 people gathered. Omegas. Betas. Alphas. Children. Elders. They're celebrating. Music plays. Someone singing old Omega songs. Sable's mother's songs. Sable stands at the edge, watching, remembering. Corvain finds her there. "You're quiet," he says, thinking. "About my mother, how she'd love this, seeing Omegas dancing freely, choosing their lives, being loud. She'd be proud of you." "I hope so." They stand together, his arm around her shoulders, her head on his chest, the bond warm, settled, content. "I'm staying," Sable says suddenly. He looks down. "What?" "I'm not running. I'm not leaving. I'm staying. With you. With this. I choose it. Not just today. I choose it." His eyes go wet. "You're sure?" "Terrified, but sure. That's my favorite combination." She laughs. Real laugh. Free. "I love you," she says. First time. Scary. True. "I love you too. Have since the market. Probably before." "That's impossible." And yet. They kiss. Soft. Sweet. Perfect. Around them the party continues. Maeve dancing with a child. Indira teaching someone a song. Garrick, actually smiling. Talking to Valera. Life. Messy. Imperfect. Beautiful. The moon watches from above. Full. Bright. Satisfied. The moon gives. Took Sable's mother. Her pack. Her innocence. The moon takes. Took her fear. Her isolation. Her belief she had to be alone. And the moon teaches. Teaches that survival isn't enough. That living matters. That love isn't weakness. That choosing each other daily is braver than any prophecy. Sable looks at Corvain. At the people dancing. At the garden her mother loved. "Thank you," she whispers. To her mother. To the moon. To whatever forces brought her here. "For what?" Corvain asks. "For this. For second chances. For teaching me that broken people can build beautiful things." "We're not broken. We're not fixed either. No, we're something in between. And that's okay." She smiles. Leans into him. Lets herself be held. Lets herself be loved. Lets herself love back. The moon shines down on Embervale. On the pack that shouldn't exist. The Omega who refused to break. The king who learned to bend. On the future they're building together. One day at a time. One choice at a time. One love at a time. And in the garden under the watchful moon, they dance. All of them. Together. Free. Finally. Beautifully. Completely. Home.